saviors of the Democratic Party with what four white millionaires that are dining out on their association with Barack Obama from 16 years ago, living in Beverly Hills, telling the rest of the world what black voters in South Carolina really want, or what the women in the waitress living outside of Green Bay, Wisconsin, really believes. I mean, what the? I mean, I can't believe that we do this over and over again.
Yeah.
Or I hear Rahm Emanuel is going to run for president. What a like David Axelrod's going to run his campaign for him. That's like, oh boy, there's the answer. There's the answer. Genius is all.
We're ready. We're prepared. Do not give in to fear. We are fearless. This is not the time to be afraid. This is a time to stand up and fight back and to resist any temptation for them to divide us. We're in this together. The rule of law is on our side. We will not give in, not give up. We will not capitulate. We will not bow. We will not bend. We will survive.
Did you see Hunter Biden on Channel 5 with Andrew Callahan?
Did I?
Okay. And let me just say, I was very vocal about Joe Biden staying in. I said, even after the debacle that we all watched, the debate, which Hunter Biden gives us more context, because I recognize that even an unconscious Joe Biden would be better than a conscious Trump as president of the United States for two reasons.
It's not even funny.
No, for two reasons. The Supreme Court and the military, the nuclear codes. I didn't feel comfortable. Again, I feel like we dodged the bullet literally with the first administration, because there were people, adults in the room, protecting us from somebody who's not quite morally or mentally there, from making these random decisions as we're seeing every day. Tariffs, no tariffs, just random stuff. Obama was around, like all kind of stuff is just coming out of his mouth. And it's very disconcerting that you have the nuclear codes and your control of our military. And now we have people in the streets whose faces are hidden. We don't know what their qualifications are, just snatching people up, which means anybody can be snatched up. They snatched up this guy, this grandfather, 82-year-old. Did you see this, Luis Leon? His green card, he lost his green card. He's been in this country for 40 years, Kevin Powell. 40 years this man has been in this country. He lost his green card. He showed up to the immigration office to get a new green card. And he was met by ICE, who then took this man and deported him, detained him, and then deported him to a country he wasn't even from. He's from Chile. And he was tortured under Pinochet's regime. And if you know anything about history, you know what this man ran from to come here and was granted asylum here in 1987 and had a legal residency card and had a green card, and he lost it. 82 years old. They snatched him up and deported him to Guatemala. He's not from Guatemala. His family was like, where's Pop? And they tracked him down. He's sick. He needs his medicine. And so that means that you can pretty much disappear. And this was not a criminal. He was not part of MS-16 or whatever the hell, the damn. But here we are, right?
They're just indiscriminately doing it. They're racially profiling, just taking people, if you look a certain kind of way.
Correct. So I said Joe Biden could not be breathing. I'm voting for him. And people were like, oh, that's the problem with you, blah, 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 you Democrats, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, this is like civics and understanding of how this government works and who should be in power right now. And I'm not saying Democrats are perfect. No one's saying that, but it's our responsibility. I said, I want to be able to protest the next president. Yeah. So then was Kamala, okay, we're going to make that switch. This is good, and we're going to go hard in the paint, because I understood, as many of you did, 92%, 80%, that this was not an election of a person. This is about a project that they've been working on since Reconstruction, in my opinion. This has been going on for a while, and they mean to do it. Now they got the court, and they got both houses, chambers of Congress, and the presidency. They could run a Boston, and there's nobody that can check them, right? So Hunter Biden, everybody, Biden's emails, his crack, his cocaine, the sex, and none of that. I said, Hunter Biden ain't in charge of nothing. That man could be high on mollies all day long. I don't care. He's not controlling my mother's Social Security. He's not doing anything with your drugs or anything. Like, so he cleared the air. He called out everybody. I'm here for it. I want to play this clip. Smith, play the first one.
For some reason, the intelligentsia of the Democratic Party, with 2020 hindsight, believes that Joe Biden should have considered not running again because of their perception that he was too old. And so then the drumbeat began. And the New York Post the New York Times, on a near daily basis, egged on by the Pod Save America saviors of the Democratic Party, with four white millionaires that are dining out on their association with Barack Obama from 16 years ago, living in Beverly fucking Hills, telling the rest of the world what black voters in South Carolina really want, or what the women in the waitress living outside of Green Bay, Wisconsin really believes. I mean, what the fuck? I mean, I can't believe that we do this over and over again.
Yeah.
Or I hear Rahm Emanuel is going to run for president. What a fucking, David Axelrod's going to run his campaign for him. That's like, oh boy, there's the answer. There's the fucking answer. Genius is all. You know, all of the things that they want. You remember this, is that everybody talks about Joe Biden now as if he was somehow the choice of the Democratic Party. Bullshit. We lost Iowa. We lost New Hampshire. We came in second in Nevada. David Plouffe and David Axelrod went on TV. They said that there's no way Joe Biden can get the nomination, not a chance in the world. Mike Bloomberg is going to crush him in California. Elizabeth Warren's going to beat him in Massachusetts. There's going to get wiped out in Texas. He doesn't have the money to run. A lot of rural voters said, fuck you, we love Joe. A lot of urban voters said, fuck you, we love Joe. And they voted for him overwhelmingly. And not only that, everybody said, well, he'll never be able to beat Trump. And then they said, well, he'll never bring us out of COVID. And then he said, he'll never be able to pass bipartisan legislation, and he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about, and he's living in a different generation, and he's living in a past time. And over again, David Axelrod would go on and say, you know, the thing about the president is that he is just a man who time has passed by, and he doesn't understand Congress. We passed bipartisan legislation more than any presidents in Lyndon B. Johnson, and who had a supermajority in both the House and the Senate, with Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema. And who did that? That didn't happen by magic. That didn't happen in the Obama administration. That happened because Joe Biden got on the phone with Kristen Sinema and Joe Manchin and Chuck Schumer and the rest of the party and Republicans in the party, and he passed a fucking bill because Mitch McConnell didn't stand in the way like he did to every other president other than Joe Biden. And he got it done. He did it.
There's more. But I'll play the rest. Hunter Biden, if he is on something still, I like him. At least I feel like he's telling the truth. I feel like he's saying some things, Kevin Powell.
Yeah, you know, I think I haven't watched listened to the entire interview. Does he talk about the health concerns of his father?
Yes. Yeah. Well, he talked about that debate. We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
And let's do that because we have a guest that's coming in. You know what? Bilal, hold on a second, because this was important to me. You know, that debate was hard watching it. It was so hard watching that debate. And I'm like, do we have the capacity? You know, and I think two things. If Joe Biden said, I'm only going to run one term to get us out of COVID and do that, he should have stepped down earlier. So there was a lot of, to me, missteps. But what was on the table, our binary choice at that point, was just, to me, just crystal clear of what shouldn't happen. And instead, the Gaza Strip that nobody seems to care about now, because if you cared about it so much, you wouldn't have stayed home or voted down ballot, because you would understand that while Joe Biden is not doing all the things you want him to do with Netanyahu, Trump would absolutely make sure that those people don't get food, clothing, shelter, or nothing, and that their entire existence would be leveled, because he said it out of his mouth. So to me, it was a no-brainer. But I feel like we have tough times being told that these are your only two choices. Now I have another choice. I can sit home. Okay, how's that working out for the rest of us? We're at home. Now what? Now what? Let me play this clip from Hunter Biden, Channel 5. Second clip, Smith.
And it was that one debate that caused the full backslide.
Yeah, man. And I'll tell you what, I know exactly what happened in that debate. He flew around the world, basically, the mileage that he could have flown around the world 3 times.
Yeah.
He's 81 years old. He's tired as shit. They give him Ambien to be able to sleep. He gets up on the stage, and he looks like he's a deer in the headlights. And it feeds into every fucking story that anybody wants to tell. And Jake Tapper with literally how many anonymous sources. If this was a conspiracy, Andrew, you know this, somehow the entirety of a White House in which you literally living on top of each other has kept their mouth shut about, like what? And what's conspiracy?
Yeah.
That Joe Biden got old? Yeah, he got old. He got old before our eyes. The people that came out against him were who? Nobody, except Speaker Pelosi, Speaker Emeritus Pelosi, did not give a full-throated endorsement, which allowed everybody else to kind of go, okay, except who came out full-throated? Progressives, AOC, Bernie, the entire progressive wing, Ro Khanna, the entirety of the progressive side of the Democratic Party said Joe Biden has got more of our agenda accomplished in 4 years than any president in history. The largest investment into climate change in history. Just that alone, okay? And so he gets over the hump. He goes and does a Stephanopoulos. Everybody's okay, that's not enough. We got to see him give a press conference. For what? You remember that? It was about a 2-hour-long press conference, and he gave a tour de force around the world history lesson about the existence of NATO, Russian aggression, and Ukraine. They said, okay, well, wait, he's got to go give a speech in, he's going to speak to the NAACP, because the NAACP and the Hispanic Caucus and the Black Caucus said, if you fuck over Joe, don't count on us. Because you know what they're doing? They're trying to take South Carolina away as the first primary state. The first time in history that the heart and soul of the Democratic Party gets to have its voice heard first after 50 years of Iowa and New Hampshire with 3% black population states.
I thought it was less.
Less than that.
New Hampshire's got to be closer to 1.
Closer to 1.
I saw a few blacks in
Finally, and you know what? You know what you have? You have the Pod Save America motherfuckers saying, I don't think South Carolina, was only there because of Joe Biden, and Joe Biden and that's what he did to save his own self. Why should South Carolina have the vote? What the fuck? I mean, are they out of their fucking minds?
Wow.
Hey, Hunter Biden, you better say them things.
Well,
Thoughts and prayers, Kevin Powell.
Yeah, it's it's further confirmation that the Democratic Party locally, where we are, and nationally, has to really, really assess what's happening as the Republicans shut down Congress today and early.
Oh my God!
They don't want to deal with it.
Say more about that for people who aren't familiar with.
Yeah, I mean, the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, said, "Okay, you know what? No, we're not going to do this Epstein thing, and we're gonna recess early for the next 5 weeks, and we're out. See y'all in September, basically. So there's no Congress, there's no House, nothing's happening. So stuff that was supposed to happen this week got tabled until September. This is ridiculous.
And why can he do that? Why can he do that, Kevin Powell? Why is Mike Johnson able to do that?
The same Mike Johnson who a week ago said we need to see the Epstein files. Someone got to him. I mean, we need to understand, Karen, this is the Godfather 1 and 2 happening in real time in our lives. If you haven't seen those movies or seen them in a long time, go back and watch them. This is how they're operating. It's mafia, it's mafioso. It's what it is. It's bullying. It's like you said, they got Congress in their back pocket. They got the Supreme Court in their back pocket. They got parts of the media in their back pocket. They can get people fired or allegedly fired, like Colbert, simply for criticizing. I mean, the fact that, these folks are forced to pay Trump money just because they ran news items about him or about Kamala Harris in the case of CBS. I mean, this is an oligarchy. This is called an authoritarianism. This is called a dictatorship. This is the stuff we heard about when we were in college and high school back in the day that was happening overseas. It's right here on our doorsteps, literally happening in front of us.
Wait, what's wild? We had a whole Red Scare. This is the stuff people like, you think Paul Robeson and others were accused of being communists and the Red Scare. We're now living in it, You know, this was the boogeyman that we now have as our leadership. This is crazy.
We're ready. We're prepared. Do not give in to fear. We are fearless. This is not the time to be afraid. This is a time to stand up and fight back and to resist any temptation for them to divide us. We're in this together. The rule of law is on our side. We will not give in, not give up. We will not capitulate. We will not bow. We will not bend. We will